What's good, y'all? JR the AR, and I'm here to happily announce the first episode of This Week in the Culture, presented by CLRBLND Ent and Petty Cash Studios. Now, if you've been following rap at all the past week, you've definitely heard people talking about hidden children, OV hoes. There's been a lot of crazy stuff going on, but I wanted to give some context for the misinformed, uneducated, and my white friends at home who really just like that DJ Mustard beat that they heard yesterday. Now, Drake and Kendrick Lamar actually started as friends in the early 2010s. In fact, in 2011, Drake brought Kendrick on his first nationwide tour for the Take Care album, which he also featured Kendrick on, track 7. So, with all that being said, where did it go bad? Well, there's a timestamp for that too. Big Sean dropped his album Detroit back in... Anyway, this came out in 2013. Right after Good Kid, Mad City, Kendrick Lamar's most critically acclaimed album to date, had just dropped. And coming off of the high of that album, Kendrick had a lot of bravado. And with that bravado came a sense of confidence and competition. Kendrick was willing to beef with anyone, including the people that he was featured on this song with. If you read here, he's dissing everyone from J. Cole, Big Crit, Wale, calling J. Cole by his government name, which is wild. But the most important of this matter is Drake. Drake did not take that kindly, especially after putting him on one of the biggest albums of that year and bringing him throughout all 50 states. So after that, we did not see a Kendrick Lamar and Drake collaboration for quite some time. Fast forward to 2024, and things got heated up again. Thanks to Future Hendrix. Future and Metro Boomin dropped their collaboration album, We Don't Trust You, top of the year, and had a myriad of features, Kendrick Lamar being one of them. At this point, Kendrick really wanted to put his stamp on his place as the king of the hill, and blatantly said, fuck the big three, it's just the big me. But Drake did not take that disrespect lightly. Within a week or two, he already dropped his response track, Push-Ups, where in the first few lines, he's already accusing Kendrick of having to give half of his career to Top Dog, the owner of TDE, the label that he just got out of. And when he says drop him, give me 50, it's actually a double entendre. He's also saying that he had to give Top $50 million just to get out of the label, which is a crazy claim. He then goes on to say that Kendrick Lamar isn't even the top 3 in music right now, claiming that SZA, someone on his own label, Future, and 21 have all wiped him down. Not Future, Travis. I got that incorrect. I'm never gonna let myself slip. At this point, we were waiting for a Kendrick Lamar response. 17 days, in fact, but within that time, Drake actually dropped a second diss track. This one got a lot less respect, mostly for the fact that he used AI voices of not only Snoop Dogg, someone who's still alive and could have given a feature if he wanted to diss someone from the West Coast, but Tupac. Now, this was looked at as very in bad taste until people remember that Kendrick Lamar used an old interview of Tupac on his closeout song to one of his other critically acclaimed projects, To Pimp a Butterfly. So it was a subtle jab saying like, yeah, you've already used the Dead's voice to push your career forward and for publicity, so how would they really feel about how you're moving right now? After 17 days, Kendrick Lamar made the wait well worth it with his drop of Euphoria, a scathing diss record where he's claiming that he is the #1 rapper in the game, does not want to compete for the crown. The other 2 people are kissing and hugging on stage, and they really don't want any smoke with him. He'll kill them off like Melly. Just like Melly. He claims his manager Chubbs is a cokehead. He claims his muscle in the group Baca is playing with kids. He's really starting to up the ante with what's being said in these songs. Kendrick Lamar even expresses that this could come from some animosity because he denied giving Drake a feature for First Person Shooter, the record that he dropped with J. Cole, top of last year. Now, this is also the first track where he coined the phrase OV ho, something that he would turn into an anthem later in this beef. And within a day or so, Kendrick dropped another one on him, 616 in LA, where he's pretty much saying he's not with the gimmicks. People are seeing past the propaganda and all the little trolling things Drake is doing. And when it comes to who's really the best rapper and can prove it through what they have to say, it's K-Dot. K-Dot was Kendrick Lamar's moniker before he started going by his government, Kendrick Lamar. You learn something new every day. Most of y'all probably knew that, but I'm here for the ones who didn't, you know what I mean? Now, this is when the beef really started to get to a boiling point. Drake dropped again within 24 hours, and Family Matters really set the tone for how this was gonna go moving forward. Drizzy is out here claiming that Kendrick Lamar is a fake gangbanger, names a bunch of people from his city who are really from the set, and says he hides behind them to keep this street persona when he's really 5'6" and can barely get on all the rides at Six Flags. He's claiming Kendrick Lamar beat his wife. He's claiming that he paid $1 million plus for a PR team to cover it up. He's claiming that Baby Keem writes all his best music. There's a lot of crazy stuff being said right now. One thing that I do have to mention though is through all of Drake's tracks, he has had to acknowledge other people, whether it's Rick Ross, Metro Boomin, Future, all the other people have been dissing him amongst this Kendrick beef because they're all trying to make a moment out of this for themselves, which is kind of lame, but can you blame them? This is Kendrick Lamar going at it. I would be doing the same thing. I will say that some of Drake's best bars are on this song, Family Matters. Where's Your Uncle Hat? Because I want to talk to the man of the house. He's actually referencing Mr. Morale, Kendrick Lamar's last album, where he has a song mentioning how his uncle turned into a woman. Drake claims that Top Dawg forced Kendrick to do songs with Taylor Swift and other white artists to propel his career, and denies Kendrick's claims that he's not safe in Los Angeles, saying that he's gonna go to Delilah with all of his ice on. All of it. Saying someone hired a crisis management team to cover up the fact that they abused their wife of 10 years is not a light claim. Neither is saying that my wife of 10 years isn't even my wife. I think the hardest hitting bar though was when Drake claimed that Dave Free, Kendrick's now manager, is actually the father of his oldest child. Within 20 minutes of Family Matters dropping, Kendrick Lamar came back with a gut punch, Meet the Grams, where he's talking in the first person as if he's speaking to Aubrey's family, detailing all of his demons and why they should be ashamed to be associated to him or have even given birth to him. Verse 3 is when the allegations really got out of hand, when Kendrick alluded to the fact that Drake might have an 11-year-old daughter that he hasn't been claiming this entire time. People thought this girl right here was Drake's daughter until they watched the Family Matters video and saw that he had pictures of her all up the walls of one of the houses in some scenes. This made it look like she might have been a mole set up so that Kendrick had some baseless information to go off of and start talking out of his why. His why. A lot of people thought that took a lot of weight out of the punch Kendrick threw with Meet the Grams. So within a day or so, he dropped again. The next day, he gave us Not Like Us, produced by DJ Mustard. And this song was crazy. Just off the cover art alone, you see Drake's house with a bunch of sex offender dots on the top. You know he's about to be talking something insane. I kind of feel bad for Drake at this point because the song where Kendrick's really slandering him the most, calling him and a lot of his friends who live in his house sexual offenders, it's on the most jumping beat. Like, that's not even fair. He also gets at Drake for disrespecting Tupac, claiming that he's not good in Oakland or the rest of the West Coast. There were so many little one-liners here, like calling OVO the one vaginal option, saying the OVO owl is just bird, N-words, and burnt. We respect women over here. He also calls Drake a half-white colonizer who takes all he can get from the talent out in Atlanta and monetizes it for his own personal gain. He also brings back the OV ho statement he used way back in the beginning of this beef and turns it into an anthem that's going to be played club-wide on the West Coast, probably nationwide. And as of May 5th, 2024, that's where we are at with the Kendrick Lamar and Drake beef. I feel like this isn't the end of things, but we're going to come back with you with all the updates and anything else going on in the culture next week. Follow Colorblind ENT, Petty Cash Studios, and stay tuned for all of the updates in the culture. Boom, bitch.